at arrival. We will get moving tonight. Calling our budget and finance budget hearing for Thursday, May 23rd, to order. Our first item on the agenda for tonight is planning office, 101. It's 51,720, which is, I believe, about page 14 or 15. Yep, 14. That will be on page 14. We're on page 14. We're on planning first. Planning, sorry about that, Sheriff. We're on, the planning office. Well, Sheriff's Department will be, I don't know what your numbers look like. Are they, is his, just his budget? Okay. We'll try to look and get on the same page in a minute. Yes, sir. Mayor, are you gonna speak on the planning or is anyone? Oh, there we go, I'm sorry, Mr. Kerr. You're gonna speak on the planning office? Got you. Thank you. I apologize, didn't see you sitting over there. The position that is in place here, director official position, where did that salary come from? What is that a salary? Is that an hourly pay? Yes, sir, if you don't mind at all. Come to that public mic.
So the, excuse me, first, you always have to do first things first. I must congratulate our chairman here tonight on his new position. He has a new job. I know a little bit about that job. He's going to have his hands full. I want him to know he has my full support, and I hope he has the support of all the students and parents in the county.
I appreciate that, sir.
Just get that out of the way. But congratulations.
Thank you.
That salary, Mr. Chairman, if you look back over from 2017 up, you'll see Dwight Jewell was 2017 through 2019. And you see his final salary was $54,501. And then you'll see where it's kind of up and down after that. Sam, when he was the building inspector, he could only make so much money a year so that it wouldn't affect his veterans benefits. So that's why you see a fluctuation there of salary. And it was a good deal for the county. The county didn't have to pay out as much. And he was able to not have any reduction in his veterans benefits and that type of thing. So the salary that we're asking for is a salary of $65,000 because I really want to impress upon not only the budget committee, but the county commission as a whole, the need to hire and refill this position.
Why do you feel it's so needed?
Well, if you look up at the top, right up above there, you'll see total revenues attributed planning office since 2017. And if you'll go all the way out to the end, you'll see that the expenses, the revenues that have come in are 2,107,781. And then if you go to the very bottom of the page that's highlighted there, and you'll see the expenses, revenue minus expenses for each of those years. And I'm just hitting the total. That this office has brought in a profit of $1,193,951 in this time span. And
Is that due to the fact that we have an impact fee?
I don't believe that, does the impact fee in on that at all? I don't think that's anything to do with the impact fee. She could probably tell you that, because I would think that the impact fee goes right into the general fund.
It's impact fee.
Oh, okay, okay. Still, it's
The impact fee was removed and goes into 101, but in this account.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay. That's good to know. But still, this office has a net revenue of over 1.1 million, almost 1.2 billion. And as we keep contracting out these services, that's just revenue that we're losing. We're paying other people from other places to come in and do these inspections and to do these things. And we have to pay them. That's money that could be coming into the office.
The last time we had looked, that pay was quite a bit less than this $65,000 position. It was running around 40,000 for the year was the expected cost of that out
Well,
service.
Yeah, I'm not denying that, but I think that what we can do is we can actually, one, save that 40,000. And two, it's my understanding that the people, especially one of the gentlemen that does most of our contract work, is saying he's not going to be able to do it anymore. He's just so busy where he is and stuff. And Miss Rosalie's here to answer. She can be more specific and stuff because she's actually talked to these people. I just kind of going to give a general overview of the budget and everything. And this, how many offices do we have that do a profit like this? I wouldn't think there's too many.
Well, there's not many that have a generation of funds, and this is
That's
a fund generating office due to the fact that it has impact fees that are coming in. I mean, these are all from impact fees of building homes.
Right.
The vast majority is
And as I have said to this committee,
building permits and impact fees. That's really the only income
Right.
that's available. The zoning studies have also increased in cost, so therefore it's increased in the revenue of this.
Right.
Not enough at this time probably to show, but there's a reason it has
Exactly.
a revenue stream. I think the impact fee is something that I think was mentioned to us in the past. It probably is something that could be looked at to make it look even heavier in terms of.
Well, as I mentioned to this committee a few weeks ago, I think we definitely need to increase the impact fee. We're the cheapest around, my understanding, and we, I guess you have to say, the old saying is strike while the iron's hot. We're a place that people want to live. And this is not something that someone has to pay. If they want to live here, that's their decision. As part of the cost of doing business for living in Trousdale County. And if they don't like it, they go to Wilson or Sumner and pay more.
It has an impact. So my question, back to my original question on that same line item 105, is this a salary position? What is this, an hourly position? Because overtime is up a lot in the.
Well, I believe it's a salary position, and then the overtime, I think, has been used. You notice that there wasn't any overtime. Let me go down here. There's been not a lot of overtime. There was. Is that the extra help? The overtime? So I think, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
The statement here was during the time that Miss Rosalie's taken on more duties, and she's done a great job taking on those duties. I'm not disagreeing with those in any means. There was a vacancy and she took on those duties, and her job was not a salary position. It was an hourly position. So therefore that office manager has took on more. I'm asking, is that going to be continued to be needed? That we're looking at a $10,000 overtime need for the next budget.
obviously, if we fill that position, there should be no reason to have that much money in overtime. Because I'm assuming that we're going to keep the position that Ms. Rosalie holds now. Now, you know, she was that before, when Sam was here, she was already in the office, had been for a few years. And so I am assuming that that position would hold, and there would be no reason to have that much in overtime.
You mentioned Mr. Jewell earlier. I think from 17 through 19, there was no additional staff. It was just Mr. Jewell in that office.
I'm not sure when the county hired
2021 or 20,
okay.
is when it was brought
I
on.
know that they, as most offices do, ask for help quite
Yes, sir.
often. And that's the first time, I guess, that the county had funded it.
And the reason these are difficult talks and conversations is we're looking at a budget that went from 153,000 projected at $90,000 cost to the county, over this year's estimated cost to the county, $90,122 cost to the county as a proposed budget of $231,219. I realize when we're talking about creating a position, there's 65,000 of that dollars. I'm not disagreeing with that part. But it's a department that looks, even though it's generating income, and that's an argument, but there's a reason it's generating income.
Exactly.
It is a net generation income department.
And again, that's our recommendation, is for that salary. Obviously, it's up to this committee to recommend a appropriate salary. But to get someone with the certification, it's kind of like a school teacher. It's one of those positions that has a ton of certifications that goes with it. Just like police officers have to be certified and everything, school teachers, you know, this office is just like that, with all the different tests and all the different things that they have to acquire in order to be able to fill that position.
One more question on that same position conversation. Has that salary come from looking at the wage study side of things, the personnel policy steps and those pieces? Is that where it puts that position?
I'll be honest with you, that salary was suggested, but I had no input in that salary.
Understood.
That came from whoever prepared this document. I assume it was the mayor and Ms. Rosalie and whoever else the mayor, you know, spoke with.
Understood. Mr. Ford, I got you right there.
I remember last year when you came before us, my question to her was, are you gonna work at getting certified? And I asked her the other day and she says, I'm not hardly there, but I'm working on it.
She's here tonight. She can speak to that. You're asking, is she certified for this
Well, no,
position?
she's not totally there, but I know she's getting close.
I think we need to keep one thing in mind, Mr. Chairman. I'm asking for the position. Who the county hires is irrelevant as to you see what I'm saying?
100%. I was
Okay.
fixing to mention the same
She's
thought.
here if you want to ask her.
We're looking at a position being created and an opening, that would be a position that would be posted.
Right.
If Ms. Rosalie is qualified to apply for that position, she could apply for that position. She may want to stay right where she's at.
You are getting close, huh?
Yes, sir. So, and to speak as to the need for the position, when we had the contracted inspectors, they filled a need at that time, and it was with the understanding that it was just going to be a short-term arrangement until we could get the building inspector position filled, no matter who it was. With the state of Tennessee and the state fire marshal's office, you have to have, in order to retain your exempt designation, you have to have a building inspector. You have to have a whole process in place. As soon as Sam left, we received an audit summons from the state fire marshal's office. And it was a multi-page document which had to detail out exactly how the office was run, how building permits were handled, how complaints were handled from contractors, how people were held accountable and things of that nature. And we also had to prove the various certifications of the contracted inspectors that we have available. And I had to provide copies of the contract to the state fire marshal's office. If we don't have a building inspector position, then the state will assume all that responsibility. They will get the building permit fees. They will get impact fees. we will get a nominal amount of money, not much at all. So we would lose this, stream of revenue, honestly.
Ms. Rosalie, I
Yes,
hate to stop you, but Smith County is in that same boat and they do have an impact fee in Smith County that comes to Smith County. Now, the inspector in Smith County sets the price that they want to set. There, it's a state inspector and they set what price and the inspection fees go to them. When we were breaking that down, your building permit side of things would go to them, but not the impact side of things. We could still adjust the impact fees and they come to Trousdale County. So
Okay,
that is
perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
The way you've got the impact fee set up is this office just happens to be the one that it runs through.
That's correct.
It would still come, right.
That's correct. That's just, it's just coming, there's still, the county still retains the right to set an impact for building of homes.
It's just a bookkeeping matter.
That's correct.
And also too, I believe that in our charter for the county, it designates that we are to have a building inspector position as well. So. letting you know.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Ford?
if you get certified, will you be able to knock out any of this stuff that, for, GNRC? Or will that have to continue on?
GNRC has been with us for many years, even when we've had building inspectors. They are an advisory group. They do our research. They do all the legwork, so to speak. And really, they're the experts when you go to, we contract with them because we don't have the staff that, if you went to Sumner County, Gallatin, Lebanon, places like that, they have those kind of people on staff. We don't have enough questions to require a staff person of that level. So by contracting through GNRC, we can get those questions answered for I know it's a lot of money, but for what you would not have to pay in salary for a salary position.
How long have you been working there now, Rosalie?
Almost 4 years.
Have you seen the growth of the county continue to rise as it looks like it has?
Indeed, it has. In fact, I'm already at, oh goodness, already about 100 permits so far this year, and it's not stopping. I still have more permits sitting on the desk, and there are a lot of people saying they're coming and they're going to be filling out, building permit applications, even commercial. A lot of commercial is coming as well.
Good, thank you.
Jerry, one of the things that happened, Mr. Chairman, if I may, one of the things that happened is for about a year and a half, we had a lot of people come before the planning committee, and you know this, you were chairman for a long time, and got their projects approved. We haven't had as many doing that here lately for maybe the last 6-8 months, but they've still got all of their projects approved. Now they're beginning to pull those permits for those projects and are beginning to fill those areas up. And so that's why if you look at the agenda, you might say, well, there's not much going on right there, but it was done beforehand. And we're just now catching up through Ms. Rosalie giving out the building permits for those projects.
You see a budget proposal in front of you?
And we'd be happy to answer any other questions, Mr. Chairman, if somebody has one.
I appreciate that. My regards to the situation and where we're at here, it just seems cost effective to me to continue with the state inspectors that are coming in and doing our inspections. It seems very cost effective. We were running an estimated $40,000. That'd be a savings of $25,000 right here.
Well, sir, he is not able to do in fact, he wants to stop the contract.
I know there's one, but there may be others that are interested. We haven't looked at those pieces. There's the one that that filled in during that time that has made his wishes known that he does not wish to continue but that's the only one we've talked with, and it appears cheaper. I'm just being honest, saving the counties. I'm a tight budget person. I don't know if y'all realize that or not, but I try to run a tight budget. And if there's savings to be made, I like to go with savings. And the reason I say that is another position doesn't only cost the hourly wage, it costs in other areas. As you will see, your retirement, your social securities, all those pieces also have a cost.
And
It's just my
another-
concern.
Another way to look at that, Mr. Chairman, might be that, what's our plan B if these people refuse or don't come in and inspect for us? I might suggest that if we just, the money's gotta be put somewhere in any budget, somewhere, anywhere. Put the money in there. If you don't need it, you haven't lost anything, you haven't spent it. But if you do need it, then you don't have to start the process all over again. And the Budget Finance Committee, meeting with the mayor, could decide to hire that. If that's the way this committee and the commission decide to go, you don't have to start the process all over again.
I appreciate your view on that. I sort of might differ in the conversation and saying that once you put it there with that piece, the easy button is already there and it's easy to hit the easy button and move on. Than it is to go and ask and try to acquire, is that available?
Yeah, I understand.
So I have a question, please, sir. Does
Uh,
that mean that you would not fund a building inspector position? Does that mean the building inspector position would go away?
It currently is not funded.
I understand, but, and that was with the understanding, right now, I'm like the interim building inspector.
I-
That was to cover that, and that was the only way that we could pass our audit. And I'm using contracted services for these building inspectors to come. So if we don't have anybody in that as an interim or whatever, we will lose the ability to do our own permits. That will go to the state.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, I don't know how the state does that. All of my knowledge is in the local aspect of it. We definitely don't want to, if Ms. Rosalie's right, and I don't see any reason why she's not, we don't want to get in that situation. Maybe this committee could assign, or mayor's office could investigate and find out during that time, because it's going to have to come from a high level source like the mayor's office, something like that, to get those questions answered anyway. I just hate to see us getting a bind when we don't have to.
Well understood in that case. I don't know where the bind is at. I mean, and I've talked to some individuals that do other counties, so I don't know where the bind part of that is at. Mayor, would you like to speak to this?
Let me simply say for the last year and a half, Ms. Mylan has carried the entire load. She has used state inspectors to fill in for her, but she's not only been doing her job, but if she had an assistant, she's been doing that job too. I have looked at the cost of what it would take if we place this position, we post this position. I don't know that we could hire someone to come in and do this job for $65,000. I just don't think. Sometimes I think the mayor's office should be mayor/complaint department. But I never get a complaint about her work. She works well with all the contractors. She's very thorough, and she's carried a pretty heavy load. So I want to make that point very clear that she's really done a great job for us to this point.
Happen to know about, would the state take over the permits and everything if
I can't answer
okay,
that.
I didn't know.
You have a budget proposed in front of you? At this moment, I'm not going to take public input, but I will just very shortly.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. I have a second to the motion. Any discussion on this motion?
I'll ask the question first. Is the motion to approve it with the building inspector position funded?
The motion was to approve the budget that was funded.
Okay, but the point I was wanting to make though is if there's a question as to whether that building permit money might go away if we don't have a building inspector position, I have to agree with Mr. Kerr. I think we might be better served to get an answer on that one way or the other. But if the committee votes to fund it, that position, I believe that's a moot point. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. I have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. All right, Sheriff, I think we're headed to your budget now. We're gonna start with courtroom security. Do you have the list that we're rolling by? If you don't mind, let's stay quiet out in the audience, please. Do you have the list that we're rolling by here? The courtroom security, patrol, school resource, drug enforcement, jail? All right, thank you. 53,920. And I apologize for some reason today, I did not. Thank you, sir. Page 21. It appears there are some additional positions placed into this under the deputy side of things. Is that correct? Additional positions, the line item was funded at 50,000 last year in the budget and is budgeted at 121,000 this year.
Last year, whenever Randy Linville, he was my courtroom officer. When he went to be SRO, it was vacant for a while.
So it was a move money out
Yeah.
thing. Gotcha, understood.
Yeah.
So that is not an increase other than the 2.5%.
Yeah,
That's that fully, it's not a new position added. It's just money was removed in that budget to cover other areas where this one wasn't filled. But now it's fully staffed. That answers one big question I had on this one.
okay. Everything on it still pretty much same as last year. Nothing's been changed on it.
All right, you see what's in front of you. It's stated as a pretty much just a return in the same money. It doesn't look the same because money was removed from this budget due to vacant positions. For possibly not for 2 years. We funded some additional positions last year that might have been in this one. There were some added positions in last year's budget.
Motion to approve.
I hear a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. It does approve favorably. Patrol, if you will turn, I believe it's on page 23. Nope. Oh, I apologize. Page 22, next page. I turned it does go over to page 20. The final of it's on page 23.
It's very little changed on this either from last year.
Motor vehicles, how many are you purchasing?
I'm not gonna get any this year.
You've got 95,000 in the line item.
I'm gonna pull that out.
So remove the 95,000?
Yeah.
Line item 71854, 110, 718.
We're still waiting on the 7 vehicles we got last year. We haven't gotten those yet. I've got 3 positions that's getting ready to go to the academy this fall. One's in there right now, and I got 3 more to go.
Okay.
And then all those positions be filled, and I think I can get by this year without any vehicles, and 111 too.
So when we get to the 111, there'll be some,
Yeah.
okay, understood. Removing 95,000, that brings that to 2,100,000, $2,100,378. 387, I said that backwards. Must have read those incorrectly. Thank you. As of current. Be $2,100,387. As of current. Removing the vehicles line item 718 per the sheriff. Sheriff, are there any additional positions inside this, the deputy side of things, or is that 17 officers, still 17 officer positions?
That's 17 positions in that line item there.
So the increase is just the 2.5% raise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no increase in staff. It's same.
Just want to get that out there. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
We just now got 3 cars we ordered 2 years ago. We've got 2 of them on the road. We still got 1 we hadn't issued out yet. And the cars we got last year, we hadn't got those yet. They talk like it might be this month or next month. They really don't know for sure. Then after we get them in, then we got to get them equipped, everything put in them, and they're running over a year behind on all the vehicles. But I'll be in good shape this year by just not getting any cars.
The law enforcement equipment, 40,000. I know last year there was a large number there again. Is that, but wasn't spent, it appears. Is that new, something new material? It says tasers.
Yeah, those are some of the equipment for some of the vehicles. Got $30,000 for a repair on vehicles.
I'm saying that 40,000 doesn't go along with those new vehicles. There's no need, it's still needed. The line item, 716, those were not for the new vehicles, right? They're for sheriff's deputies that are needed already. 716, law enforcement
Okay,
equipment. That's not equipment for those cars we removed is all I'm asking.
no, it's not.
Okay.
I was just looking at the overtime up to 150. It was 110. Were you fully staffed? Do you think you need that much overtime?
We're getting close to fully staffed. I got 1 in academy right now and 3 to go this fall. And it's getting better than where we were at. You know, like I say, a lot of the overtime was coming in on the holiday pay. Those extra 4 hours on holiday pay where a lot of the overtime was coming in, and we've cut back a lot, as much as we can on overtime. We're getting a lot more transports and stuff like that to do. And instead of calling people in, I had the jail administrator and a lieutenant go to Bradley County today, pick up the inmate. Instead of calling somebody extra to come in and get them, we're trying to keep from calling anybody in to do a lot of these transports. This prison is really keeping us busy. One girl, we had to go up Knoxville, east of Knoxville, and get her 5 times on a prison case. And we got her in jail now. They think they finally going to sentence her. We already sentenced her, but they violated her probation. That's just one example of some of the things we're having to deal with now.
Any other line items of discussion? I noticed your gasoline ran a little over this year, but it's very close. You still feel like that will be okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep it there, like fuel, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Very
It
well
might
said.
drop, it might go up, but trying to hold it where we're at right now for now.
Law enforcement supplies increased from 12,000 to 32,000, a $20,000 bump. Is there, but it has
Yeah,
nothing about.
what that is our tasers. Company that owns Taser is keeping all their tasers in-house now, and we're having a contract with them. It's like $26,000 a year. It's kind of like a lease. It's a non-binding contract.
There's a taser line item, 716. There are two different law enforcement supplies, is 431. And I know we're talking about a lot of numbers when these are very small in the data in front of you, so I understand the need to. For some reason, 431 went from $12,000 to $32,000. The tasers, it
Yeah.
says
Yeah,
program.
I got it here now.
Any idea what the increase on 431 is?
Yeah, I know what it was, but I can't think what it is right now. It was something that come up at, some kind of equipment we're having to get. And there, they'd write it in there.
It just seems like a large jump without.
Yeah,
Any other discussion? You have a budget in front of you. Total balance at this point is $2,100,387. The biggest majority of that increase is in the line item we just discussed, the 20,000 there, and in the salary increases, which is the 2.5% increase.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion by Ms. Overman to approve. Have a second by Mr. Gregory to approve. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. It is favorable. Any opposed? I'm sorry, I forgot to ask that. I saw all ayes, so I think that's where we wanted to go. The next is on the same page 23 there. This is your SROs, Special Patrol School Resource Officers. The grant, correct me, Sheriff, if I'm wrong, the 230,000 is staying 230,000.
yeah, as we know right now, we haven't been told anything different.
Understood.
Motion to approve.
It is grant money coming in. Motion to approve. I have a motion by Ms. Overman, a second by Mr. Gregory. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. Drug enforcement is 150. If you just turn the page, it's page 24. It is pretty much a status quo. There is it appears a individual employed in this line item. So the increase is due to salary.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Overman, second by Mr. Cochran. Any discussion on 150? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. If I get to going too fast, y'all stop me. Sometimes I have that nature. So I'll try to slow down. Don't mind a bit. It's not intentional. Okay, let's move on to 54-160, which is on the same page here. It's not on your agenda tonight, but we still need to get to that one. It was just one we need to cover on here. Should have been written out beside it. My apologies. I missed that. It is a status quo.
It's a sex offender registry.
Yes, sir.
What this is, this money that's brought in is from the people that have to come in and register with us. There's a fee set by the state that they have to pay us. It's how this money is generated. And we can only use it on certain things in-house, buying supplies, computers and stuff like that.
Oh, only because I've noticed at our, location that has a large population, that might fit this need. Do their fees as well pay to the county if they're sex offenders?
Who's that?
Those sitting at Turner Correction Facility
No, those out there won't.
would not,
No. No, just the people that's living in the county here that,
but they do live in the county.
yeah, we don't collect from out there though.
Understood.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, second by Mr. Gothard. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, let me know by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. Your next one is on the next page, starts there and actually runs your next, into the next page as well. Jail fund 54-210, 101 54-210, just so that everyone knows we're still in the 101 general fund.
Yeah, I try to keep this close also to last year's budget. Not very much increase on here at all. I think I increased the food maybe about $5,000, but, other than that, the medical cost went up a little bit with the contract percentage that, Dan Carey has, but that had to go up a little bit.
Understood.
But outside of that, everything else is pretty much about the same.
Yeah, it looks like the money in this one is the 2.5%, which rolls into other areas. When we say 2.5%, I hope everyone understands, and I know this committee does, but I want to make sure the public understands. When you increase salary, you also increase social security, you also increase state retirement and those pieces. So medical insurance, all those pieces have a rollover effect in that piece.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Mr. Cothran to approve. Do I hear a second?
I just got a question about the warrant clerk news for this fiscal year. Is that?
I haven't, promoted anybody in that position yet. Reason being, I've had two, I think, this year that transferred to dispatch. And I've just been running so short-staffed up to now, I haven't been able to fill it. And hopefully I can get it filled here in the next month or so.
Is that 40-hour-a-week job, or what would be their job description?
40 hours a week.
What all would that include? What's their job description on that?
Well, they'll be taking care of entering and taking in and out all the warrants at the jail. And, a new job came up this week. I'm planning on that person doing that too, where we have to go ahead, instead of bringing the prisoners to the jail to get booked in on indictments from Core Civic, we're going to go out there and do all the booking process in the prison. And not only go there, we'll be having to go to other prisons across the state too.
Who does the warrant entering now, or?
I've got 8 different women doing it, and I'm trying to narrow it down to one person doing the job where it'd be more efficient.
Do you have a projected savings in terms of not having to transport individuals? How often are we going to do bookings?
Well, for instance, I talked to the investigator yesterday. They got 30 and 2 indictments coming out this next month. So that'd been 32 people who'd been transported to the jail to get booked in. But now we'll be going out there doing it.
They do,
Maybe.
we do that transport, not, of course,
We won't have to transport them.
no, I'm saying, if not, we would be transporting them here.
Yeah. So that clerk will be going out there helping do the book-in process too. And we're gonna try to start doing more, Zoom.
I was fixing to ask, can that be done electronically?
The prison is just now getting started doing it, and I've talked with them about doing that also, even out here, and doing our arraignments on video. And the only time we'll be bringing them in, hopefully, will be when they take a plea for the trial. Trying to cut down on some of our transporting and
You have I have a motion on the floor to approve. I did not hear a second. There was discussion. Now, he made the motion. I have a motion and a second to approve as budgeted, the 54 to 10 jail. Do I hear any other discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye, it is favorable. All right, I believe Workhouse is next on page 26, 54 to 20.
yeah, I don't think I've changed anything on there at all, just except for the salary part.
Yeah, it appears to be a status quo, but the 2% increase in salary. Have a motion by Gregory to approve. Have a second by Mr. Coffin. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. We're going to 55,170, which is about page 32, I believe. There we are.
Yeah, this one is the same as last year. I hadn't changed anything on it.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion by Ms. Overman to approve. Have a second by Mr. Cochran. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. All right, sorry for the discussion off sidebar. We all received an email. Time gets by on me here, maybe Monday of this week, about the sheriff's addition. We need to find sort of where to put this piece. I think there's a request for some communication work on Gravelly Hill. That's gonna go into this budget. Is that correct, Sheriff?
That's right. That's something we've been working on for a good while, is a communication tower up on Gravel Hill. The water department already owns the property. And I got a proposal, I think, of $399,000 for the tower. 911 board, we met, we talked about it. It's gonna cost about $500,000 to put the antenna repeaters in it, and we're gonna pay that part of it. It won't be for the sheriff's department, it'll be all from emergency management, rescue, everybody. Water department, if they want to put an antenna on it, it'd be for all of us.
I think it was roughly 300, I'm gonna pull it back up, but I think it was 370 something is what was sent to us. If we got the wrong numbers, please let us know. Let me pull that up.
It's something that we really need. We got two towers now, one on Morrison Street and one on Pumpkin Hill. And they're faced to where they can talk to each other. We tried to put one on Mutton Hollow that's off 231 North in Sumner County, but the hills were in the way and we couldn't get a line of sight to the other towers. They were gonna let us put it up there for free. Sumner County owns it, but it wouldn't line up with ours. But you get up in that area, especially when you get out on a portable radio handheld, you can't get out at all. I was up there a couple of months ago looking for a suicidal person, and I lost contact up in that area. I had to go up toward Westmoreland where I could talk on my car radio. You get on 231 North in that area, our radio is pretty weak.
That sounds dangerous.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I was incorrect. You were spot on. 399, 125. It came to us on May 20th. I do not have a print off, and the reason I do not have a print off is because at this point, it's kind of where do we want to take this money from? I will make a few suggested thoughts. And just in looking at where dollars are, of course, it could come straight out of fund balance 101. It could come part out of ARPA and fund balance. There's options there. We've, the sheriff cut 95,000 in patrol vehicles. Well, that makes it pretty much 300,000 we've got to come up with.
Well, I really cut a little bit more. 111, I cut some of it too, which is a different fund though.
Yeah, agreed. That's the problem. And this
Yeah.
one being in Gravelly Hill, I don't see the, that it would be a 111 pool.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
There will be some savings, but that goes into a different account.
And we put it out to bid. It may come back cheaper by another company. I don't know, but it's just a proposal I asked for by the company that done our last one up on Pumpkin.
Be great if it comes back cheaper. That's always great.
Yeah.
My fear is it comes back more expensive. That's always seems to be fun. I'd rather we be proposing and budgeting high.
Yeah.
But I put that in front of you. I believe the best suit is to come out of 101 or to be put in 101. There are some options there. There is money in the 171, which is the money that the prison, the 300,000 that goes in each year in the prison. I personally think that that's a good move to leave that money alone and have a future plan for that money, which we know is still in play at some point in time, and leave that account alone, and let it draw and let it sit and draw interest. It's money either way, but at least that one's allocated in one place. It's not getting touched. In my experience, once you touch something a little bit, it gets easier to go back to the piggy bank again. So I would hope that we leave that one be. ARPA has roughly 400 and I had that written somewhere. Miss Amy's gonna get that for us, I believe. I've got it written, but I can't tell you where right now. Oh, it's in our email. That's where it's at. I knew I just looked at it. It's in the email her and I had gone through earlier. Total rough of ARPA is 457,000 available. My thoughts would be, I mean, it's totally up to the bunch here. We just put with the sheriff removing the vehicles, that put 95,000 back in the 101. You could do 250,000 out of the 101's fund balance and the rest out of ARPA or something. I care not, but I think that would be a good balance. It kind of takes a little out of each place. 250, 150, something along those lines. That would be my suggestions to the committee, but I am not hung on those. Where do y'all wish to go? We don't have to fund it.
That's what I'm saying. Can we wait till we get more information on this and maybe we can bring a budget amendment in front of us and we can decide then?
That's certainly available.
I mean, I hadn't really studied or really thought about it till tonight, where it's mentioned there.
I think
If y'all want to approve it, I can put it out to bid and see if we get any cheaper bids, I don't know.
I think it would be,
Y'all give me the okay to do that, and I can do that.
that's what I was fixing to go at towards. I think it would be best if we at least gave him some direction in that facet of that we plan to fund it somehow if, as a need. But, maybe, all right, we plan to fund it, but we need to know how much we're funding, if that's what we're looking for. Remembering, that's one reason I said more out of 101 fund balance, because whatever wasn't spent there could roll back into 101.
Yeah, this is pretty much the last piece of the puzzle as far as our communications, tying everything in.
That would be quite important. You need to be able to communicate with all. Mr. Ford?
Yeah, everything's working good. We're getting good service out of what we've got. Lightning did run in on it, 6 months ago. Had to get some work done to it, but,
It's gonna give you pretty good coverage all over the county.
we get, Gravel Hill, it should cover everything good.
That's what I'm doing.
You spoke of Shuid, and I'm thankful that there's a tower available to us. Is there any way we can test and know how well it's gonna cover before we do it?
Yeah, there's a coverage we've already done. The company that we work with, they've already came out and gave us, they gave us like a graph on where it gets out at, like in the hollows and how to pick up, and it looks good.
Perfect. That study's already in place.
I make a motion that we'll approve the money when we get the bid or whatever. I mean, we'll fund it like you try to figure out which from ARPA than from the 101.
A motion with the plan to approve once we know
Yeah.
a final budget.
Yeah.
I hear a motion and a second to give the sheriff the movement that we plan to approve to the commission, the dollars for this, once we have a final total. Is that suiting in that piece?
Yes, that sounds good.
I think that'll fit us, okay. 399,125 was the original bid, right at 400,000. Was the original estimate cost. It's not been put out to bid, I think, it's just an actual estimate. But if we put it out to bid, hopefully it can save us some. That's why I said there's 457,000 in ARPA. 101, even though the fund balance has dropped, we know over the last little bit, there's still some fund balance money. 95,000 went back into fund balance off this sheriff's budget already, so that kind of washes a little bit in a way.
Yeah, now, 911, give you a little history on it. 911 is paid for all the equipment on the other two towers and the antennas. The one on Pumpkin Hill, there was a grant that built that tower, I think when, Mr. West was mayor. And they failed to put the equipment on it, just the tower itself. So 911 I think, spent around $500,000 to equip that tower. And we spent like $500,000 too up on Morrison Street on that tower side.
Maybe there are some grants we can look into if there's grants available.
I checked on the grants and for a tower, there's not much out there right now. I think when the tornado came through, that time and there was a lot of grant stuff then.
Money went to those areas for communications. All right, we do have a motion and a second that there is a plan to fund it, but not the exact funding mechanism at this point. I have a motion by Mr. Gregory to plan to fund the communication equipment needed on Gravelly Hill Tower. Not knowing a full budget, there's no money allocated to that plan. That was seconded by Ms. Overman. Is everybody clear on what the motion is? That being stated, all those in favor of the motion as stated, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. Didn't turn my phone off. I apologize. Oh, man. All right, next up, we are moving, I believe, to 111. Page 55. We're in the sheriff's side of the 111. Starts for the patrol, which is 54,110. And as Mr. Gregory stated, it is page 55, top of the page.
Yeah, this is basically, haven't changed really anything on here at all. Like I said, I took the motor vehicle out.
So remove $53,060.
Yes.
Is the 340 for the chief and 5 officers, is that just the 2.5% raise for that 5?
Sheriff Russell, did you hear that question?
What was that again?
Line item 106 went from 300,000 to 340,000. Chief and 5 officers, is that $40,000 increase for just the 2.5%?
I get, is that right, Amy? I think it is.
I understand it's that with padding for the holiday pay. It's a little bit more than 2.5%. It is. It's definitely more than 2.5%. So with padding for the overtime for holiday pay. The 4 hours additional overtime, paid, all holiday, correct me, Sheriff, if I'm wrong, all holiday pay is paid at time and a half.
Yeah.
$766,624.
Motion to approve.
I hear a motion by Ms. Atwood to approve. Why haven't I done that lately? I apologize, Ms. Overman. Ms. Overman to approve. Brain's not running well tonight. Ms. Overman to approve. Do I hear a second? Hear a second by Mr. Cothran. Any discussion?
We will have an Urban Services Committee meeting before this budget is passed to overlook this too, but I look to be in agreement with it, but with the other 2 members, I look at it too then, but from the Budget and Finance, recommend.
Thank you. I saw 2 members of it, 2 of the 3 here tonight. I appreciate you being here. If there's something we need to look back at, bring them back our way for sure. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor, 54-110, a favorable motion at $766,624. All those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. County Drug Fund, Fund 122. Page number 49. I apologize for the jumping around there. Thank you. You got 4,200 revenues for the 122 drug fund, 54,150 the expenditure side of this. Any discussion here?
I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Mr. Cothran to approve. Do I hear a second? I have a second by Ms. Overman. Any discussion? That is the 122 approved as is written or proposed. If no discussion, I'll ask the question. All those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. All right, folks, I think I looked through this today and I don't recall any piece we missed in here. As of current, I am not seeing anything in here that we have missed. The only question that's still been on the table that's been asked of me, and Miss Amy's gonna work on that, is what numbers would look like in terms of finals with and without the 2.5% or with additional changes there. That's the only piece that is still being worked out that's been asked of a question from this committee. Is there anything else anybody would like to see brought back out, brought to the table? Any changes you wish to look at?
When Mr. Betty was here, we were talking about the rescue. He had talked about a plan as far as maybe coming back with a plan about raises for rescue and fire. Can we check with and see if that?
I will try to check with him to see if we can get something in terms for Tuesday nights, 5:45 meeting. I can rescue. The question there was, if you'll remember the night and it's been a while ago now, at the, water department, the, fire department originally asked for the volunteer call, to be raised, the per call per diem to be raised. Originally there was some discussion that looked favorable. And then there were some things on the table that once it was all looked at, it looked a little unfavorable at that time, but Mr. Beatty, I think, was going to try to bring us some information back in case there was a need, still an availability there. I might say as well, in that conversation, I think it might be, something for us to think about in terms of the fire was the first one that came to the table to ask that piece. I think if we, hopefully there's a means that we maybe could even look at $30 to go out. I realize they're not doing it for the dollars. Don't hear what I'm not saying. There's a special individual that loves to help out and be involved in those situations, and I appreciate them greatly for that choice. But maybe there can be a cost difference for $30 to go run into a firehouse into a fire that's actually burning might be a little different than the thoughts there. So a lot of their calls don't end in actually fighting a fire. Maybe there's an option there that could be looked at by this committee as well, or maybe by personnel first and then brought as well. That just looking at there are different types of calls they end on. Maybe we can have a different set for different call types. That was a suggestion that I thought was pretty strong that came to me after that meeting. Anything else other than the fire and the budget proposal with and without the 2.5% raise? I will mention this on the 2.5% raise. I want to make sure everybody hears this clearly. In this year's budget, there's a roughly $350,000, as Ms. Amy and I think have been able to find, in increases. That does include elected officials, and we can't change those. So it's not gonna, the elected officials is TC, if you read beside every one of them, it gives you the TC code annotated. So that is here you go. Handed to you, and we're gonna fund it at this amount. So that amount is inside that raise. So that's not all just our 135 employees that are, I believe you said it was 135 that are on that 2.5%. Just being clear. If not, I think that information will be ready for us. At least that part of it will be ready for sure Tuesday night. I will see if I can get with Mr. Beatty between now and Tuesday and see where that's at. Monday being a holiday, and I don't plan on working much through that holiday. I'll just be straight up. So with that stated, that motion to adjourn.
I would just like to thank Amy for preparing this budget. It's really self-explanatory and it's really, I mean, it helps us a lot on that. Thank you.
She's done an outstanding job. I might bring that back up Tuesday night just to remind you of that. I appreciate you reminding her of that. We'll keep easing along. Miss Amy does this, and there's a difference there in time. She's here on her time. No doubt, Miss Rosalie has spent a lot of time in planning meetings and things of that nature, and I appreciate the time she spent. She's done an outstanding job presenting to the commission on what's going on and what's moving. 100% on those pieces, and they take time. And I always feel it necessary to pay people for their time. If not, I had a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second? Second, you may, oh, hang on, I'm sorry. I will send a message 5:45 here Tuesday because we have we have that 7 o'clock. We'll try to finish it all up. We're not trying to finish it up to get it on the budget. We're just trying to get it as close to finish as we can. It will not be on this month's May budget. Agenda, that's the word I'm talking about. We're talking about the budget on the agenda. There we go. Thank y'all. I did have a motion in a second. All those in favor, you may get up and leave. Thank you.